Motorsport is thrilling, but sometimes it takes a terrifying turn. It's a world of glorious noise, blistering speed, and heroic drivers pushing magnificent machines to their absolute limit. We watch, captivated, as they dance on the very edge of physics. But what happens when they step over that edge? The consequences can be catastrophic, not just for the drivers, but for everyone involved. The ballet of speed becomes a maelstrom of metal and fire, a stark reminder of the razor-thin line between triumph and tragedy. It's a side of racing we often prefer to ignore, but it's fundamentally part of its DNA. And that's what we're here to talk about. Not to be morbid, not to sensationalize, but to understand. Today, we're looking at 3 of the worst racing accidents in history, and what we can learn from them. These aren't just stories of crashes, they are pivotal moments that forced the sport to confront its own dangers and evolve. From the hallowed straights of Le Mans to the unforgiving banks of Daytona, each incident left an indelible scar on motorsport, but also paved the way for a safer future, a future that drivers today owe their lives to. So buckle up, this isn't going to be an easy watch. The 24 Hours of Le Mans. It's the grandest, most prestigious endurance race on the planet, a true test of man and machine. In 1955, it was the scene of motorsport's darkest day. The grid was a spectacular sight, sleek, space-age machines from Mercedes-Benz, Jaguar, Ferrari, Aston Martin. The main straight wasn't just a straight, it was a narrow ribbon of tarmac flanked by packed grandstands on one side and the pits on the other. No barriers, no runoff, just people. The protagonists were Mike Hawthorne in his Jaguar D-Type, Lance Macklin in a slower Austin Healey. Hawthorne, having just lapped Macklin, suddenly darted across the track to pit. This was an era before designated pit entry lanes. You just pulled over. The maneuver forced Macklin to swerve violently to avoid the decelerating Jaguar. He moved into the path of a Silver Arrow, closing in at over 150 miles per hour. That Silver Arrow was the Mercedes-Benz 300 SLR piloted by Pierre Levay. He had no time, no space, no chance. Levay's Mercedes struck the back of the Austin Healey, which acted as a perfect ramp. The SLR was launched into the air, somersaulting towards the spectator embankment. The impact was apocalyptic. The car disintegrated, spewing its heaviest components, the engine block, the front axle, the bonnet, like shrapnel into the densely packed crowd. The car itself was a technological marvel, but its construction contributed to the horror. Its body was made of electron, a magnesium alloy. It's incredibly light, great for racing, but when it ignites it burns like thermite. Water from the fire hoses only intensified the blaze. The wreckage burned for hours, a funeral pyre on the side of the track. The scale of the tragedy was almost incomprehensible. Over 80 spectators were killed, along with Pierre Levay, and more than 180 injured. If Le Mans 1955 was about the danger to the crowd, the 1994 San Marino Grand Prix at Imola was about the vulnerability of the gods themselves. The weekend was cursed from the start. On Friday during practice, the young Rubens Barrichello had a monumental accident, his car launching into the air and knocking him unconscious. He was lucky to escape with a broken nose. It was a chilling omen of what was to come. On Saturday, the sport's luck ran out. During qualifying, Austrian rookie Roland Ratzenberger in his modest Simtek car suffered a front-wing failure at the fastest part of the circuit. He hit the concrete wall at nearly 200 miles per hour with unimaginable force. He was killed instantly. The paddock was shrouded in a blanket of shock and disbelief. Formula One hadn't seen a death during a race weekend in 12 years. And then came Sunday. The mood was somber, the drivers shaken. The greatest of them all, Ayrton Senna, was on pole position. He was a titan of the sport, a 3-time world champion, revered for his almost supernatural car control and his ferocious competitive spirit. He was so concerned by the weekend's events that he had brought an Austrian flag with him in the car to wave in honor of Ratzenberger after the race. The race started, and there was immediate chaos with a crash on the starting grid. The safety car was deployed for several laps. At the time, safety cars were just production road cars, not the high-performance machines they are today. They circulated at a pace that was far too slow for Formula One cars, causing their tire pressures and temperatures to drop dangerously. Cold tires mean less grip, a twitchy car, an unpredictable beast. On lap 7, the race restarted. Senna, in his Williams, led Michael Schumacher. If Senna was Formula One's untouchable god, Dale Earnhardt was NASCAR's working-class hero. He was known as the Intimidator, a rugged, mustachioed figure who drove with a controlled aggression that bordered on belligerence. He was a 7-time champion adored by millions for his pass-in-the-grass grit. He was NASCAR. And on February 18, 2001 at the Daytona 500, he was gone in an instant. It was the final lap. Earnhardt was running third but wasn't trying to win. He was playing blocker, holding off the pack, protecting 2 cars ahead. Michael Waltrip Dale Earnhardt Jr. It looked like a perfect storybook ending. As the pack thundered through the final turn, Earnhardt's black #3 Chevrolet jostled for position. He made light contact with Sterling Marlin, a tiny nudge at approximately 180 mph. The car wiggled, veered down the track. He tried to correct it. The car snapped back up the banking nearly into Ken Schrader. Schrader's impact hit the passenger side. The next movement was fatal. It's a heavy subject, I know. Looking back at these moments isn't about glorifying disaster, it's about honoring the memory of the drivers who were lost and acknowledging the painful lessons that were forced upon the sport they loved. From the ashes of the 1955 Le Mans disaster rose the first real concept of spectator safety. From the deafening silence at Imola in 1994 came a new generation of impossibly safe Formula One cars. From the heartbreak of Daytona in 2001 came innovations like the Safer Barrier, which have become the standard worldwide. Progress in motorsport safety is often written in blood. It's a reactive process, a grim cycle of tragedy followed by innovation. We can only hope that with modern technology, with advanced data simulation, and a proactive safety culture, that cycle can finally be broken. The goal is to learn the lessons before the tragedy, not after. Every driver who walks away from a colossal shunt today owes a debt to Pierre Levegh, Roland Ratzenberger, Ayrton Senna, and Dale Earnhardt. These tragedies remind us that while racing is dangerous, every lesson learned saves lives. The thrill of speed will always come with inherent risk, but the pursuit of that thrill should never come at the cost of a life that could have been saved. The greatest tribute we can pay to these fallen heroes is to never stop striving for a safer sport, to never become complacent, and to never forget the price they paid. Stay safe and respect the speed.